Hello everybody, welcome back to another tutorial, and in today's video we're going to be making a medieval castle, so let's jump right in. And here are the items you'll need. On the left are items that are essential for the castle, and on the right are just optional decorations that you can use, but if you can't find those items, they're not required. Alright, so let's get started. First thing you're going to want to do is find a clear space of land. You might have to do a bit of filling in just to get a bit of a clear space, so let's start off. And we're going to start with the towers. So you're going to want to start with 3 blocks, go out diagonal 1, and then another 3. And then you're just going to kind of repeat this pattern to make a bit of a circle, and that's what your tower should look like. Pretty simple. And now coming out from the middle of one of the sides, we're going to come out 6 blocks. So place 6 extra blocks, and then place a 7th with 2 on either side, and now repeat the tower. So essentially you're going to have 2 towers, both the exact same shape, and then in the middle of those 2 towers is going to be 6 blocks. And then once you do that, this is what you should get. We're nearly done the frame. And so coming from the middle of that next tower, come out 9 blocks. And then come out a 10th, and then place 2 on either side like so. And then once again, just build up your turret. And now to match the other side, we're going to come out 6 blocks again. And you're going to come out a 7th with 2 on either side, and then once again just build your tower in place. And then all now is just connect up the last remaining side, and in this video this is going to be the front of our castle. So once you have your template in place, you're just going to go around and fix the terrain so that your castle is on level ground if you didn't pick a completely flat spot in the beginning. So to start off, we're going to come over to our first tower or turret, and you're going to come up an additional 7 blocks tall, and you're going to repeat that for the whole outline of the tower and on all 4 corners. So now we'll move on to the walls. So for each wall, you're just going to want to come up 4 more blocks. So there we go. So now that we've finished the frame of the castle, we can move on to the entrance. So you're going to want to come to a side that is 6 blocks long, come out 2 blocks, and then build up 6 oak logs tall. And then once again go out 2 blocks, and then build up 6 oak logs tall. And then come in 1, and then up 1, in 1, up 1, and then connect those together to make the frame of your entrance. And so then you can delete all the stone in the middle, and then take your spruce planks and build up right behind the oak logs on either side of your entrance. So now we're going to come around to the back, and we're going to place 3 spruce planks just on the frame like so, and then right under those blocks place 3 more spruce planks, and then get your spruce slab and place it right in the middle. So now we're just going to do some finishing touches. So place a lantern in the middle of the entrance, and then you're going to take your iron bars and build them up 3 high and 2 wide on each side of your entrance. And then we're going to take 2 torches and just place them on either side of the entrance. So now we're going to be adding some detail to the top of the towers or the turrets. So on each 3 block segment on each tower, you're going to be placing 2 cobblestone, leaving 1 gap in the middle. And you're going to repeat this pattern for each turret. And then you're going to take your polished andesite slab, if you have it. If not, you can use a stone brick slab, it doesn't matter. And you're going to place it on top of each of these blocks that you just placed. And then you'll simply repeat this pattern for the other 3 turrets. And there we go. So once that's all done, we're now going to be looking into the interior of the castle to add in our floor. So the first thing you're going to want to do is just come in and remove the existing layer that's in place. And then once that's done, you're going to start off the floor by completely filling it in with stone brick blocks. So once your floor is all done, you can leave it there just with stone bricks. But what I like to do to add a bit more detail is take any mossy stone bricks you might have or cracked stone bricks. And then you're just going to break random spots in the floor and fill it in with the cracked and mossy stone bricks, and that's just going to add a bit more detail to your floor. And there we are, so now our floor is all done. So the next part of this video is just going to be exterior design. So any point going forward is optional to you, just with whatever resources you can get your hands on. So I'm going to start by adding vines all around the exterior of the castle, and that's just going to break up all of the cobblestone texture. Now, being in creative, I can afford to just place as many vines as I want. But if you are in survival, you can just get your hands on a few vines, place them at the tops of your castle, and then they'll just grow over time to expand downward. So now I'm going to go around the edges of the castle and add in some leaves, and this just gives it a bit of an overgrown look, and whenever you add leaves to any build that you're doing, it seems to just really help the aesthetic of the build. So it's a great touch, but not mandatory if you don't have the leaves. So one detail that I just forgot to mention before for your castle is you can take stone brick slabs and just add them to the walls of your castle. And this is just going to give it a bit more of a clean and sharp look, but it's optional. I guess any of the decoration is optional. It's just whatever resources you can get your hands on, but it's just going to give your castle a bit of a cleaner look. And so now coming around to the front, I'm going to be adding in a bridge and a moat. So for the bridge, I'm going to be using oak planks and oak slabs, but also stripped oak logs. These two color combinations go really well together and complement each other nicely. And so if you want to follow along block by block, you can, but it's also just a bit of a random design. So I'm just going to be playing around with it until I come up with a design that works for me. So once your bridge is done, now I'm going to be creating a moat. And so you can just do this along the front, or if you want to go all around the castle, you can. And the best way that I find to do this is not to just make a uniform moat, like 3 blocks long, but rather I just punch out a bunch of the terrain. And this is just going to make it look like a really natural river that happens to be flowing in front of your castle. And once you're done, you're just going to take some water buckets and just fill it in with water. It might take a bit of time in survival, but it is worth the look in the end. And there we are. So this is the end result. I think it looks really good. So let's move on to a bit more exterior design. And to start off, I'm going to take a shovel and just create a path up to the castle. Now, if you're in a survival world and you're building a whole medieval village and kingdom, then you can decorate your paths and the land around it however you want. But if you are just making a single castle on itself, this might not be a bad idea. And so to add a bit more detail into the path, I like to add in some spruce planks. These go really nice with the path block as they're nearly the same color, so it is super subtle. And then once you're done that, you can add in some leaves just to give your path a bit of foliage. And then one thing that I also like to do is take wooden or stone buttons, if you have it, place them around to add a bit more detail. And then also if you have any extra fence posts and just placing them along the edges of your path, this kind of makes it look like a ruined fence used to be here, and it just adds a bit more detail to the overall landscape. So now we're getting into the final details here. Now I like to go around the castle, add in a bit more detail, so I might add some pumpkins, add some stone bricks just around the edges of the castle. And then I'll also add in some cauldrons with water. And this just makes it look like there was people here or the castle might be inhabited. And some other blocks that I like to add are hay bales. I think those look great, especially for a medieval castle. I think that makes sense. And then also some barrels, if you have some. I like to put those around the outside because, like the cauldrons, it does kind of make it look a bit more civilized, like there could be people here. And then you can get creative. If you have some blocks that you think would look good on the outside that I didn't add, go for it. Don't just copy this block for block, it's completely up to you. And so now I'm going to be doing the flags. So coming into the leftmost turret on the front, I'm going to start by placing spruce fence posts just in the middle, and you're going to come up about 20 or so fence posts. That's going to give a good height for this. And I use spruce fence posts. You can use oak, but I think the darker look does look a bit better for this. And so then once you reach your desired height, you're going to take any wool color of choice. I use purple. I think it's a good contrast color, but you can use any color that you like. And you're just going to try to create a bit of a waving design. You can copy this block for block by all means, but you may just need to play around with it yourself until you get a desired look. And so then once you do get your pattern, one thing to add a bit more detail is to take some of the blocks and indent them or bring them out. So I'll show you what I mean here as I either bring some of the blocks in towards the castle or bring some out towards the landscape. And this really does give a convincing illusion that your flag is blowing in the wind. So now we're going to come to the right turret, and I wouldn't do this the same height. I'd do it a bit smaller, so maybe only go up 15 fence posts, just to give a bit of a contrast between the two flags, but it's up to you. You can build this how you like. And so once you just come up to your desired height of around 15 or so fence posts, you're going to take your wool again. I would use the same color, but if you want to mix things up, go ahead for sure. And then once again, because we have a smaller flag pole, I'm going to make this flag also a bit smaller. So once again, if you want to copy this block for block, go ahead, or come up with a design on your own, whatever works best for you. And then once again, I'm going to bring some of the blocks in and some of the blocks out just to give it that waving effect. And so then once you finish the flags, you are all done the castle. So I really hope that you did enjoy this tutorial. Let me know if you want to see more of this in the future, and see you next time.